What if the single biggest secret separating consistently profitable traders from those who blow up their accounts isn't about chart patterns, indicators, or market timing? What if it's something far more fundamental? A mental shift so powerful that once you understand it, you'll never look at a trade the same way again. The world's most elite traders know this secret. Mark Douglas spent decades studying it. And today, you're about to discover why thinking in probabilities isn't just an edge, it's the edge. By the end of this video, you'll understand the hidden psychological framework that transforms gambling into strategic execution. If you're struggling with inconsistent results, emotional trading, or fear after losses, the most powerful secret in trading psychology is about to be revealed. The hidden truth? Your brain is wired against probability thinking. Here's the mystery that haunts 90% of retail traders. Why do traders who understand technical analysis, who can read charts perfectly, who know their setups inside and out, still fail? You've seen it. Maybe you've lived it. A trader executes their strategy flawlessly for weeks, then hits 3 losses in a row and completely abandons their edge. Or they nail 5 winners, get overconfident, and blow their account on the 6th trade with oversized risk. The pattern reveals itself everywhere. The question isn't about knowledge. These traders know what to do. The mystery is deeper. Why does the human mind struggle so violently with randomness? Why do we treat each trade as if it exists in isolation, as if the last trade's outcome should influence the next one's probability? This is where most trading psychology content fails. They tell you to control your emotions or stick to your plan, but they never explain why your brain resists this so intensely. The hidden pattern here isn't about discipline. It's about a fundamental conflict between how probabilities actually work and how your survival-wired brain thinks they work. Your mind desperately searches for cause and effect patterns, even in random distributions. 3 losses? Your brain screams the strategy is broken. 5 wins. It whispers you've figured it out. Both conclusions are psychological traps. The mystery we're solving isn't how to find better setups. It's how to rewire a brain that evolved for survival in a world where patterns meant life or death, to now operate in a probabilistic environment where no single outcome matters. Most traders never escape this prison, but the ones who do, they discover something extraordinary. Here's what Mark Douglas discovered after years of trading psychology research. The human brain operates on a cause and effect model. Touch fire, get burned. Eat spoiled food, get sick. This hardwired pattern recognition kept our ancestors alive. But financial markets don't work this way. Markets operate on probabilities, not certainties. And this creates a devastating psychological conflict. When you execute a trade, your brain automatically searches for a causal relationship between your actions and the outcome. You analyze the chart, identify the setup, enter the position, and your mind expects a logical result. When the trade wins, your brain thinks I did something right. When it loses, your brain thinks I did something wrong. Both interpretations are false. This is the revelation. In a probabilistic environment, any single outcome is essentially random, even when you have an edge. Think about it. If you have a strategy with a 60% win rate, what does that actually mean? It means over 100 trades, you'll win approximately 60 and lose approximately 40. But here's the critical insight that changes everything. You have absolutely no way of knowing which of the next trades will be winners or losers. Your edge exists only over a series of trades, never on any individual trade. This is where the psychological warfare begins. Your survival brain cannot accept this. It needs to know. It needs to predict. It needs to control. So what does it do? It creates false narratives. After a loss, it says the setup wasn't perfect, or I should have waited. After a win, it says I'm getting better at reading the market. Douglas called this the trader's dilemma. We're forced to engage in an activity where we must put capital at risk, make decisions in uncertainty, and accept that we cannot control outcomes. All while our brain screams for control, certainty, and meaning in every single result. The traders who break through, they undergo a complete cognitive shift. They stop asking, will this trade win? And start asking, does my strategy have a positive expectancy over time? They stop viewing losses as failures and start viewing them as the cost of doing business. They understand that in a series of 100 trades with a 60% edge, those 40 losses aren't mistakes. They're mathematically inevitable. You cannot have the 60 winners without accepting the 40 losers. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Your brain doesn't just resist probability thinking. It actively sabotages it through emotional responses that feel protective, but actually destroy your edge. Let me make this crystal clear with an analogy. Imagine you're a casino owner, and your casino offers roulette. You know that mathematically, the house edge is 5.26% on an American wheel. Does this mean you'll win every single spin? Absolutely not. On any given spin, a player might win big. They might win 5, 10, even 20 spins in a row. Does this mean the casino panics and changes its strategy? Does the casino think our edge is broken after a losing streak? Never. Why? Because the casino thinks in probabilities. They know their edge expresses itself over thousands of spins, not on any single spin. They're completely detached from individual outcomes because they understand the statistical certainty of large numbers. Now here's the shift. As a trader, you must become the casino. Your trading strategy is your house edge. Each trade is a single spin of the wheel. Some will win, some will lose, and you have no control over which is which. Your only job is to execute your edge repeatedly, with consistency, and let the probabilities work in your favor over time. The moment you start judging your strategy based on the last 3 trades, you've switched from being the casino to being the gambler. Someone who thinks each outcome is meaningful rather than understanding you're playing a numbers game. This is the secret edge. Probability thinkers are unshakable because they've accepted that any single outcome is irrelevant. If this is blowing your mind, stop right now and hit the subscribe button. Why? Because what comes next will blow up your view on how probabilities can eliminate emotional trading and transform your mindset from gambler to strategic executor. And if you don't subscribe, the algorithm will hide my next secrets from you. But here's where the plot thickens. Let's say you've accepted probability thinking intellectually. You understand that individual outcomes don't matter. You know your strategy has positive expectancy. Yet something strange happens. After a losing trade, you reduce your position size. After a winning trade, you increase it. You tell yourself it's risk management, but deep down you know it's fear and greed dressed up in rational clothing. This is the second mystery. Why does the human mind instinctively do the opposite of optimal probabilistic behavior? This paradox appears everywhere in trading. Traders cut winners short and let losers run. They hesitate on A-plus setups after a loss. They overtrade after a win. They reduce size during drawdowns when probabilities haven't changed. They increase size during hot streaks when, statistically, nothing is different about their edge. The hidden pattern becomes clear. Your brain isn't just resisting probability thinking. It's actively trying to control randomness through position sizing, timing, and selective execution. It's the illusion of control. After a loss, your brain thinks, I'll risk less so I can't get hurt as badly. After a win, your brain thinks, I'm in sync with the market right now. I should capitalize. Both strategies feel rational. Both are destroying your edge. Here's the mystery within the mystery. If a strategy has a 2.1 reward-risk ratio and a 50% win rate, you have positive expectancy. You'll make money over time if, and this is critical, you execute it identically every single time. But the moment you start varying your position size based on recent results, you've introduced a new variable that has nothing to do with your edge and everything to do with your emotional state. You're no longer trading your strategy. You're trading your feelings about your strategy. Session 2.2, the new revelation. Douglas identified what he called the 5 fundamental truths that probability thinkers must internalize. But there's one truth that stands above the rest, and it's the key to solving this mystery. You don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. Read that again. You don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. This statement sounds absurd to most traders because they're stuck in cause and effect thinking. How can you make money if you don't know what will happen? Here's the revelation. You make money by executing an edge consistently, not by predicting outcomes. The casino doesn't need to know which spin will win or lose. It just needs to keep the wheels spinning. But your brain hates this. Why? Because uncertainty triggers your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for threat detection. In evolutionary terms, uncertainty meant danger. The rustle in the bushes could be wind, or it could be a predator. Our ancestors who needed certainty before acting often didn't survive long enough to pass on their genes. So your brain is hardwired to avoid uncertainty at all costs. In trading, this manifests as analysis paralysis, second-guessing revenge trading, and all the behaviors that destroy edges. Here's where it gets fascinating. The traders who master probability thinking don't eliminate uncertainty. They embrace it. They develop what Douglas called probabilistic beliefs. These aren't just mantras you repeat. They're deep psychological rewirings. Belief 1, anything can happen. Accept this fully, and you'll never be surprised by a loss. Belief 2, you don't need to know what will happen next to make money. Accept this, and you'll stop trying to predict and start executing. Belief 3, there's a random distribution between wins and losses for any given edge. Accept this, and you'll never judge your strategy on recent results. Belief 4, an edge is nothing more than an indication of higher probability. Accept this, and you'll stop treating setups as guarantees. Belief 5, every moment in the market is unique. Accept this, and you'll stop revenge trading or trying to make back losses. These aren't philosophical ideas. They're operational frameworks that, when truly internalized, completely transform how you experience trading. The trader who believes anything can happen isn't scared when a perfect setup loses. The trader who knows they don't need to predict isn't hesitant to pull the trigger. The trader who accepts random distribution isn't devastated by 3 losses in a row. But here's the breakthrough insight. Internalizing these beliefs isn't about repetition or willpower. It's about experiencing them. You must trade your strategy through enough iterations, wins and losses, to see the probability distribution express itself in your account. That's when belief shifts from intellectual concept to lived reality. Think about a professional poker player in a tournament. They're dealt ace-king preflop, one of the strongest starting hands. They go all in. Their opponent has pocket twos, a significantly weaker hand. The odds are roughly 70-30 in favor of ace-king. The flop comes 2-7-9. The turn and river don't help. Pocket twos wins. The professional player loses. Does the professional poker player tilt? Do they think I played that hand wrong? Do they berate themselves for the loss? Absolutely not. Why? Because they made the mathematically correct decision based on probabilities. They got their money in good. The outcome was irrelevant to the quality of the decision. This is probability thinking. In trading, this means you can execute a perfect trade, risk managed properly, following your rules, excellent setup, and still lose. The loss doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Conversely, you can break every rule, enter on impulse with no setup and win. The win doesn't mean you did anything right. The outcome doesn't define the quality of the decision. The process does. Your edge is in the decision-making, not in any single outcome. When you judge yourself by results instead of process, you're training yourself to trade randomly. Because you're reinforcing and punishing behaviors based on randomness. If you're still watching, you are different from most people. Prove it. Leave your like now and subscribe, because people like you deserve to know all the secrets I'll reveal in the next videos. Now we arrive at the final and most dangerous mystery. You understand probability thinking. You've accepted that individual outcomes are random. You're executing your edge consistently. But then something devastating happens. You enter a drawdown. Not just 3 or 4 losses. A real drawdown, 10, 15, 20 losses in a string. Your account is down 15%. Your confidence is shattered. And here's where the final psychological battle emerges. How do you maintain probabilistic thinking when the evidence seems to scream that your edge is broken? This is the crucible that separates amateurs from professionals. Because here's the truth. Even with a 60% win rate strategy, you can mathematically experience losing streaks that defy intuition. The probability of losing 10 trades in a row with a 60% edge, approximately 0.01%, rare but not impossible. Across thousands of traders executing millions of trades, these tail events will occur. But your brain doesn't care about statistics when you're living through it. Your brain says 10 losses in a row? The market has changed. Your edge is gone. You need to stop or change something. This is the final mystery. When does a drawdown represent normal probability variance, and when does it represent a genuine loss of edge? The answer is simultaneously simple and psychologically devastating. You can't know in real time. You can only know through post-analysis over large sample sizes. This creates an impossible situation. The probabilistic trader must continue executing their edge even when every fiber of their being screams to stop. They must trust the math when their recent experience contradicts it. They must remain the casino even when the last 100 spins seem to defy their edge. This is why most traders fail, not because they don't understand probabilities intellectually, but because they cannot maintain probabilistic thinking through variance. The pain of drawdowns overrides the logic of large numbers. Here's the final secret that connects everything. Probability thinking isn't about believing in your strategy. It's about accepting uncertainty as a permanent condition. This is the ultimate psychological shift. Most traders think the goal is to become so confident in their edge that they never doubt it. Wrong. The goal is to become so comfortable with uncertainty that doubt becomes irrelevant. Let me explain. Douglas discovered that elite traders don't have unshakable faith in their strategies. Instead, they've developed a different relationship with uncertainty itself. They've realized something profound. The market owes you nothing. Your analysis doesn't create outcomes. Your perfect execution doesn't guarantee results. You exist in a probabilistic environment where edge and randomness dance together, and you cannot separate them on any given trade. Once you truly accept this, not intellectually but viscerally, something extraordinary happens. You stop needing to be right. You stop needing to know. You stop needing to control. You simply execute. This is the secret within the secret. The best traders aren't the ones who predict the market most accurately. They're the ones who've made peace with not predicting at all. They've shifted from, will this trade win, to am I executing my edge, from is my strategy working right now, to have I followed my process, from should I be trading, to does my statistical edge remain valid. This shift eliminates 90% of the psychological warfare. You're no longer fighting your emotions because you're no longer asking them to make decisions. You're not trading based on how you feel about recent trades. You're trading based on whether your setup criteria are met, period. But here's the deepest layer. This isn't about becoming robotic or emotionless. It's about redirecting your psychological energy. Instead of spending mental energy trying to control outcomes, you spend it on process perfection. Instead of analyzing whether your last trade should have won, you analyze whether you executed according to your rules. The elite trader still feels fear, greed, frustration, and excitement. But these emotions aren't connected to outcomes anymore. They're connected to process. They fear breaking their rules, not losing money. They're excited about perfect execution, not winning trades. This is the ultimate edge. When you stop trying to control what's uncontrollable and focus entirely on what you can control, your decisions, your risk, your consistency, you've transcended the psychological barriers that destroy most traders. You've become the casino. Final analogy, imagine a farmer planting crops. The farmer prepares the soil, plants quality seeds at the right depth, waters appropriately, and applies proper nutrients. Then the farmer waits. Does the farmer control the weather? No. Does the farmer control if every single seed germinates? No. Does the farmer panic if some seeds don't sprout? No, the farmer understands the process. Plant enough quality seeds with proper care, and a profitable harvest is probable, not certain, but highly likely over time. Some seasons will be better than others. Some crops will fail. Droughts will come. But the farmer doesn't abandon farming after one bad season. They trust the process because they understand that agriculture is probabilistic, not deterministic. As a trader, you are the farmer. Your trading strategy is your farming technique. Each trade is a seed. Market conditions are the weather, sometimes favorable, sometimes not. Your job isn't to control the weather. Your job is to consistently plant quality seeds and trust that over time your edge will produce a harvest. The moment you start judging your farming technique based on whether the last 3 seeds sprouted, you've lost the probabilistic perspective. The harvest comes from the cumulative effect of consistent execution, not from any single seed. The farmer who understands this sleeps well at night, even during droughts, because they trust the process. The farmer who doesn't panics, changes techniques constantly, and never sees a harvest. Which trader are you? So here's how it all connects. Case 1 revealed that your brain is wired against probability thinking. Case 2 showed you that embracing uncertainty, not eliminating it, is the path forward. Case 3 demonstrated that true edge isn't in prediction, but in process perfection. The traders who master this don't have a secret indicator or special setup. They've undergone a complete psychological transformation. They've rewired their relationship with uncertainty, outcomes, and self-worth. They've stopped trying to be right and started trying to be consistent. That's the edge. That's the secret. Not a strategy, a mindset. If these secrets blew your mind, you need to see my next videos. But only if you hit the bell icon. Otherwise, you'll lose the most powerful secrets in history. What is your opinion on the ideas presented in this content? Leave it in the comments. Send this news to that friend of yours who has a keen perception. This content is strictly educational and analytical and does not constitute financial advice or investment recommendations.